The key milestone figures in life that everyone strives for. 18th birthday, $100,000 income, $1 million wealth, 7-minute mile, $838,000, 5 a.m. alarm. But there's one specific wake-up time that everyone wishes they had the discipline for. 4:30 a.m. If you've got work, school, or whatever questionable activities planned from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., this setup gives you exactly 4 hours and 30 minutes of free time before, 4 hours and 30 minutes of free time after, and then a solid 7 hours of sleep. Basically, it's perfectly optimized. And yeah, I get that this might look confusing if you use a 24-hour clock with no AM or PM. But don't worry, you can easily fix that by diving into your phone settings and switching it to the proper format. Let's be real, everyone who claims to use 24-hour time is secretly converting it back to American in their heads anyway. Now, looking at the schedule, not all of this free time is truly free. I'm skipping over the time it takes to commute, get ready, brush your teeth, cook, clean, and handle homework. But the core idea still holds. If you wake up like most people, aka as late as you possibly can, and go to sleep like most people, aka as late as you can get away with, then all your free time ends up crammed into one giant block at the end of the day. And we all know that's the easiest time to waste. You're exhausted from work or school, everyone else is awake and distracting you, and most importantly, having a ton of free time all at once makes it way too easy to procrastinate. That's why people who follow this typical schedule usually end up wasting a lot of time, while those who shift closer to this optimized schedule actually make the most of their time. Now, 99% of people reading this will probably think, all right, cool, I'll keep that in mind for later. But right now, sleep isn't my top priority. I've got bigger things to focus on. I want to get fit, get rich, get smarter, ace my classes, start a business, learn an instrument, and make a ton of friends. Once I've got all that figured out, then I'll start waking up earlier. But what they don't realize is that waking up at 4:30 a.m. when you're 95 years old doesn't really count. Plus, going to bed earlier and waking up earlier will actually bring you closer to every single goal you have. It'll low-key fix every problem you can think of. The real issue? When you Google how to wake up early, all the advice you get is just way too hard to follow. And hardly anyone actually follows through with it, especially when the advice tells you to build a whole nighttime routine where you take a warm shower, even though you've only ever showered in the morning. Then you're supposed to dim the lights, somehow read a book, even though you just made it too dark to see, meditate for the first time since last year, and get in bed 3 hours earlier than usual. So you just end up tossing and turning, not falling asleep for at least an hour. Then, as if by magic, you wake up, take an ice-cold shower, go for a 2-mile run, and do intermittent fasting until lunch. That's the so-called optimal plan. But no matter how solid the advice sounds, it all depends on you somehow finding the motivation and willpower to completely overhaul your routine overnight and then sticking to it every single day for the rest of your life. So instead, here's a simple technique you can try right now. It's called the one alarm method. The idea is to train your brain to automatically connect the sound of your alarm with waking up, just like how dogs instinctively associate a certain word with something bad. I won't say it out loud in case any dogs are listening, but you get the point. Step 1. Delete all those extra unnecessary alarms you've been using. If you're the kind of person who sets alarms like this, first of all, good luck ever finding a roommate. Second, you need to get rid of them because, while they might work sometimes, they're also teaching your brain that alarm sounds aren't urgent. Step 2. Practice hearing your alarm, jumping out of bed, and immediately doing things that wake you up. You can practice this anytime, literally right now if you want. Here's how. Set your alarm for 1 minute, turn off the lights, get into bed, and pretend to sleep, blankets and all. The moment your alarm goes off, jump out of bed, turn it off, and switch on the lights. You can even add extra steps. The more the better. For example, get up, turn off the alarm, open the curtains, stare at the sky, stretch, chug a big gulp of water, flip on the lights, head to the bathroom, splash cold water on your face, and grab your toothbrush. This whole process takes maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Then, repeat the entire thing at least 5 times. Step 3. The next time your alarm actually rings in the morning, your brain will be wired to wake up instantly and go through the whole routine automatically. And over time, this habit will only get stronger. It'll be pure muscle memory. Now that you know how to wake up at any time you want, it's time to actually fix your sleep schedule so you can wake up at 4:30 a.m. and have a productive day. There are a lot of small factors that go into this round, so I'll break it down into level. Level 1, shifting your bedtime back. Let's say your current sleep schedule is sleeping at 12 a.m. and waking up at 7 a.m., but you want to switch to sleeping at 9:30 p.m. and waking up at 4:30 a.m. Instead of forcing yourself into that schedule overnight, Just start small. Move your bedtime and wake up time back by 15 minutes each day. Just 15 minutes. That means waking up at 6:45 on day 1, 6:30 on day 2, 6:15 on day 3, and so on. It might seem like a slow process, but in just 10 days, you'll be exactly where you want to be. The reason this gradual method works better is that it's harder to mess up. And it also gives you a clear, realistic goal every day. Most people don't actually plan when they'll sleep. They just leave it up to future them to figure out. They think, you know what? It'd be cool if I slept at 9 o'clock today. But once it hits 9:01, they go, well, I missed 9 o'clock. Might as well round it up to 9:30. Then at 9:31, they're like, guess I have to wait until 10 o'clock now? And this cycle keeps repeating until the clock finally shows single digits again. It's like trying to hit a bullseye when you forgot to bring the target. But when you push your bedtime back by 15 minutes a day, you start every morning already knowing exactly what time you need to be asleep by and exactly when to set your alarm. There's no guesswork. You just have to follow through. Next, level 2, managing screens and light. By now, everyone knows that bright light, especially blue light, makes it harder to fall asleep. You probably already have some kind of blue light filter on your phone and laptop, but the problem is that the default setting is usually too weak. This is where you need to go all in. Turn it up to the maximum, make it as red as possible. The more red, the better. You can do the same thing with the lights in your bedroom by switching to a warm-colored lamp as your bedtime approaches. Now, moving on to level 3, the nighttime routine. A lot of people will suggest this elaborate nighttime routine, but honestly, I think the simplest one that actually works is to just stop using screens completely 30 minutes before bed, and then fill those 30 minutes with whatever you want. It could be doing nothing, cleaning your house, reading a pressure washer manual, stretching, or even prepping breakfast for the next day. Just don't look at screens during that time. I know some people will argue, wait, I can't turn off my screens that early. I always have important work that needs to be done on my device. Really? Even if you do have something important to finish, remember 2 things. 1, you're waking up early, so you're not losing any time. And 2, you'll actually be more productive in the morning because now you have a time limit to get things done. At night, you can easily waste 4 hours and then steal from your sleep time to catch up. So don't give yourself that option. Next, level 4, caffeine and food. Caffeine actually stays in your system for a long time after you consume it, up to 10 hours. Some people can handle it fine, but if you want to make things easier for yourself, just avoid caffeine after lunchtime. As for food, believe it or not, eating too close to bedtime also makes it harder to sleep. If you try having your last meal earlier than usual, you'll notice it's much easier to fall asleep. Next, level 5, exercise. Pretty much everyone knows this. If you're active all day and tire yourself out, sleep comes much easier. So if you never feel tired at night, physical activity could be the key. And by physical activity, I mean actual tiring exercise, not just bench pressing. Finally, level 6, wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. I've saved this one for last just for fun. I know no one actually does it, so good night. And as always, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscriptions to fund the next video.